Good evening, my friends. Tonight I am going to teach you the two most powerful words in the entire vocabulary of manifestation. Turn within. And I am going to show you exactly where to go once you turn within. Not to the beginning, not to the middle, but straight to the end. These 6 words contain the entire secret of conscious creation. Turn within and go to the end. Most people spend their entire lives turned outward, looking to the external world for solutions, for validation, for change. They look to their bank account to tell them if they are prosperous. They look to other people to tell them if they are loved. They look to circumstances to tell them what is possible. And because they are turned outward, they remain powerless. Because the outer world is effect, not cause. It is the screen, not the projector. It is the shadow, not the substance. Tonight I am going to teach you to reverse your gaze, to turn within, where all causation resides. And once you have turned within, I will show you how to go directly to the end, to the state of the wish fulfilled, and collapse all time between desire and manifestation. Let me begin with a story that perfectly illustrates what it means to turn within. A woman came to me several months ago, absolutely desperate about her financial situation. She was drowning in debt, her business was failing, and she saw no way out. For 30 minutes, she described her problems in elaborate detail. The creditors calling, the bills unpaid, the opportunities that had fallen through. Finally, I stopped her and said, "My dear, you have spent 30 minutes describing your outer world, but I want you to do something radical right now. I want you to turn within." She looked at me, confused. "What do you mean, turn within?" "Close your eyes," I instructed. "Stop looking at your circumstances for a moment. Stop thinking about the bills, the creditors, the problems. Turn your attention inward, to the realm of imagination, to the dimension of consciousness where all things are possible." She closed her eyes and I continued. "In this inner realm, there is a version of you who is financially free. There is a state of consciousness where you are abundant, secure, and prosperous. I want you to find that state. Not by thinking about how you might get there someday, but by going there now, in imagination." I watched as something shifted in her body. Her breathing changed. Her face softened. She had stopped looking outward at her problems and had turned inward to the realm of possibility. "What do you see?" I asked gently. "I see myself completely at peace," she whispered. "I see my bank account with more than enough. I feel relief, joy, freedom." "That," I said, "is turning within. You have just moved from the outer world of effects to the inner world of causes. And the state you are experiencing right now in imagination is more real than all your problems, because it is the cause that will create new effects." You see, turning within is not escapism. It is not denying your circumstances or pretending your problems do not exist. Turning within is recognizing that the outer world has no creative power. It can only reflect what is within. And if you want the outer world to change, you must first turn within and change the state you are maintaining in consciousness. The entire world is looking outward for salvation. They think the answer is out there. In a new job, a new relationship, a new opportunity, a lucky break. But I tell you, nothing out there has the power to save you, because nothing out there has the power to create. All power is within. All causation is within. All change begins within. When you turn within, you are turning to the only creative force in your universe, your own consciousness. You are moving from the world of effects to the world of causes. You are stepping out of the powerless position of reactor and into the powerful position of creator. But turning within is only the first step. Once you have turned within, you must know where to go. And this is where most people make their critical mistake. They turn within, they begin to imagine, but they imagine the process. They imagine the steps, the journey, the how. They imagine working hard, struggling, eventually achieving. They imagine the long road from here to there. But I teach something radically different. I teach you to go directly to the end, to skip over all the middle steps, and leap straight to the state of the wish fulfilled. Going to the end means imagining from the state of having not from the state of getting. It means experiencing the after, not the during. It means dwelling in the result as though it has already happened. Let me explain this with absolute clarity, because it is the most important technique you will ever learn. When most people want something, they imagine acquiring it. If they want money, they imagine getting money. If they want a relationship, they imagine meeting someone. If they want healing, they imagine being healed. But all of these imaginings keep you in the state of wanting, of lacking, of not yet having. They perpetuate the very condition you are trying to escape. Going to the end means you skip the acquisition entirely and imagine from the state of already possessing. You do not imagine getting money, you imagine having money and feeling the naturalness of it. You do not imagine meeting someone, you imagine being in a loving relationship and feeling the satisfaction of it. You do not imagine being healed. You imagine being healthy and feeling the vitality of it. The end is not the moment of receiving. The end is the state of already having received. A gentleman came to me who had been trying to manifest a promotion at work for over a year. He had been visualizing the moment his boss would call him into the office and offer him the position. He had imagined the interview, the negotiation, the acceptance, but nothing was happening. I said to him, "You are imagining the process, not the end. You are stuck in the getting, not the having. Let me show you what it means to go to the end." I had him close his eyes and said, "Do not imagine being offered the promotion. Imagine it is 3 months after you received the promotion. You are sitting at your new desk, in your new office, performing your new responsibilities. This is normal now. This is just your life. Feel how natural it is. This is not something you are hoping for. This is something you have." As he imagined from this end state, I watched his entire energy shift. The desperate grasping dissolved. The anxiety about whether it would happen melted away. He was no longer imagining getting the promotion. He was experiencing having it. "How do you feel?" I asked. "I feel settled," he said. "Like it's already done. Like this is just who I am now." That, I told him, is the state of the wish fulfilled. That is the end. And when you can maintain that state, the outer world must conform to it. Within 2 weeks he received the promotion. But notice, he did not receive it because he imagined the process of getting it. He received it because he went to the end and dwelt in the state of already having it. Now you might ask, "But Neville, if I go straight to the end and skip all the middle steps, how will the manifestation actually occur?" Don't I need to know the how? And this is where you must understand one of the most liberating truths I can teach you. You do not need to know the how. In fact, trying to figure out the how will only limit your manifestation. When you go to the end and maintain the state of the wish fulfilled, you set in motion what I call the bridge of incidents, a series of events, encounters, and circumstances that will naturally unfold to bring your assumption into physical reality. But here is the crucial point. You cannot know in advance what this bridge of incidents will look like. The path from your current state to your desired end may involve people, opportunities, and circumstances that do not even exist in your awareness right now. If you try to imagine the how, you are using your limited conscious mind to plot a course. But when you go to the end and let the subconscious work out the means, you are accessing infinite intelligence that can orchestrate circumstances far beyond what your conscious mind could plan. Your job is not to build the bridge. Your job is to go to the end and remain there in consciousness. The bridge will build itself. I remember a woman who wanted to move to a specific city, but saw no possible way to do it. She had no job prospects there, no connections, no financial means. Her conscious mind could not plot a path. But I taught her, do not imagine how you will get there. Do not try to figure out the job, the money, the logistics. Simply go to the end. Imagine you are already living in that city. Feel yourself waking up there, walking the streets, living your daily life there. Dwell in the end, and let the bridge build itself. She practiced this faithfully. She stopped trying to figure out the how and simply maintained the state of already living in her desired city. She would close her eyes and feel herself there, hear the sounds of that place, experience the satisfaction of being where she wanted to be. Within 2 months, a series of unexpected events unfolded. A distant relative offered her a place to stay. An opportunity appeared for remote work. A friend mentioned a contact in that city. None of these were things she could have planned or predicted. The bridge of incidents had constructed itself perfectly. She did not make it happen. She did not force it into being. She simply went to the end, maintained that state, and allowed the creative power of consciousness to orchestrate the means. Here is another profound truth about going to the end. It collapses time. In the three-dimensional world, everything appears to happen in linear sequence. First this, then that, then the next thing. There is always a gap between desire and fulfillment, between cause and effect. But in consciousness, in the dimension where you turn within, there is no time. There is only the eternal now. And when you go to the end, you are stepping into a dimension where your desire is already fulfilled, where the wish is already accomplished. Most people imagine their desire in the future. Someday I will have this, eventually this will happen, in the future I will be that. But the future never comes. The future is always future. Going to the end means bringing the future into the present moment of consciousness. It means experiencing now what you would experience then. It means collapsing the gap between desire and fulfillment by dwelling in the fulfilled state right now. Time only exists in the outer world. In the inner world of consciousness, you can be anywhere, anywhen, any version of yourself. And whichever state you occupy in consciousness becomes your reality. A man came to me who wanted to be debt-free but owed over $100,000. In linear time, at his current income, it would take him many years to pay off this debt. The future seemed impossibly distant. I taught him to collapse time by going to the end. Do not imagine slowly paying off the debt, I told him. Do not imagine years of struggle and sacrifice. Go straight to the end. Imagine you are already debt-free. Feel what it feels like to owe nothing. Experience the peace, the freedom, the relief of being completely clear financially. He practiced this daily, turning within and going to the end. He did not think about how it would happen or how long it would take. He simply dwelt in the state of being debt-free, experiencing it as present reality in consciousness. Within 8 months, far sooner than linear planning would have suggested, the entire debt was cleared through a combination of unexpected circumstances. An inheritance from an uncle he barely knew, a tax refund larger than anticipated, a bonus at work he had not expected. Time had collapsed because he had collapsed it in consciousness. By going to the end and experiencing it now, he had brought the distant future into the present moment. Now I want to make a crucial distinction that will deepen your understanding of this practice. There is a difference between living in the wish and living from the end. Living in the wish means you are still oriented toward the desire as something you want. You are still in the consciousness of lacking it, of needing it to come to you. Even if you are imagining it as something separate from you, something you are trying to acquire. Living from the end means you have already acquired it in consciousness. You are no longer looking at it from the outside as something you want. You are looking from it at the world as something you have. Let me illustrate this with an example. Imagine a woman who desires marriage. If she is living in the wish, she imagines meeting her husband, the wedding ceremony, the moment of union. She is still oriented toward the marriage as something in her future, something she hopes will happen. But if she is living from the end, she does not imagine the wedding. She imagines from the state of being married. She might simply feel a ring on her finger as she washes dishes. She might have an imaginary conversation with her husband about their day. She experiences the naturalness, the ordinariness of being married. Do you see the difference? Living in the wish keeps you focused on the desire. Living from the end makes the desire your natural state. When you live from the end, you are no longer trying to get there. You are already there in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality that matters. Because consciousness creates all physical reality. The woman who lives from the end of being married is not waiting to feel married when the man appears. She feels married now in consciousness. And because she feels married now, the man must appear to confirm what she already is in consciousness. This is the great secret. You do not achieve in order to become. You become in consciousness. And then the achievement appears as confirmation. As you practice going to the end, you must understand that it is not the mental image that creates, it is the feeling. You can visualize the end all day long. But if you are not feeling from the end, you are not truly there. The feeling is how you know you have actually assumed the state. When you go to the end, you must feel what you would feel if your desire were already accomplished. Not hope, not anticipation, not yearning, but the actual feeling of having, of being, of satisfaction and fulfillment. This feeling is not emotion in the ordinary sense. It is not excitement or giddiness. It is a deep, calm sense of naturalness. It is the feeling of course, rather than I hope so. When you truly go to the end, there is a quiet certainty, a peaceful knowing. You feel the way you feel about things you already have. Natural, normal, unquestioned. A young man came to me wanting to manifest success in his music career. He would spend hours visualizing himself on stage, imagining crowds, picturing success. But nothing was manifesting. I asked him, when you imagine these things, how do you feel? Excited, he said. Hopeful, like it would be amazing if it happened. There is your problem, I told him. You are feeling the anticipation of success, not the satisfaction of success. You are feeling what you would feel wanting it, not what you would feel having it. I taught him to go to the end differently, not to imagine the spectacular moments, but to imagine the quiet, ordinary moments after success had become normal. Imagine sitting in your home studio, casually working on music because this is just what you do now. Feel the calm confidence of someone who has already succeeded. Experience the naturalness of it. When he learned to feel from the end rather than toward it, everything shifted. Within months, opportunities began appearing that led to exactly the success he had imagined. The feeling is the secret because the feeling is the state, and the state is what manifests. Here is the practical discipline I want you to understand. Going to the end is not a one-time event. It is a practice of returning. Throughout your day, your attention will be pulled back to current circumstances. Your senses will report the old facts. The outer world will present evidence that contradicts your end state. This is natural. This is the gap between the old state hardening into fact and the new state not yet manifested physically. Your discipline is to continuously return to the end. Every time you notice yourself dwelling in the current state of lack or limitation, gently turn within and return to the end. You do not need to force it. You do not need to strain. You simply return as often as necessary to the state of the wish fulfilled. Think of it like this. Imagine you are standing in a room facing one direction, looking at an empty space. This is your current circumstance, the lack you see before you. Going to the end is like turning 180 degrees and looking in the opposite direction where everything you desire is already present. At first, you might turn around and look at the fulfilled end, but then habit pulls you back and you turn around again to look at the lack. This is normal. Simply turn back around. Look at the end again. Feel it again. Dwell there again. Each time you return to the end, you are strengthening that state in consciousness. You are impressing it more deeply upon your subconscious mind. You are making it more natural, more real, more inevitable. Eventually, living from the end becomes more natural than living from the current circumstances. The fulfilled state becomes your default, your home base. And when that happens, manifestation is not only inevitable, it is already accomplished. Let me leave you with the ultimate truth about turning within and going to the end. You are not trying to create something new. You are not trying to make something happen that does not yet exist. In the infinite dimension of consciousness, everything already exists. Every possible state, every possible outcome, every possible version of your life exists right now in consciousness. When you turn within and go to the end, you are not creating the end, you are selecting it. You are choosing which of the infinite possibilities you will experience. You are claiming what already is and making it your reality. Creation is finished. Everything that could ever be already exists in consciousness. Your only work is to select the state you desire and dwell there until it hardens into fact in the outer world. This is why I can say, with absolute certainty, that your desire is already accomplished. Not will be accomplished, is accomplished. Right now, in the dimension of consciousness, you are already what you desire to be. You already have what you desire to have. You are already experiencing what you desire to experience. Your job is simply to turn within, go to that end state, and dwell there until the outer world catches up with the inner reality. The power is within you. The end already exists. All you must do is turn your gaze inward, leap to the fulfilled state, and live from that end until the world has no choice but to conform. Turn within and go to the end.